Sources is a publication and film devoted to sharing comprehensive stories of people from different parts of the coffee, tea, and cacao producing world. These stories bring both positive and negative current events to light.
Vale la mano, ¿no?
The first film follows our team as we journey through Chiapas, Mexico, to meet the region's coffee, tea, and cacao producers. Producers of different sizes discuss the complexities they face in this industry. They also share the importance of sustainable farming by incorporating organic and biodynamic cultivation into the agroforestry system. Here we meet Thomas Edelman, whose grandfather moved to Mexico in 1888 and started Finca Hamburgo in the Soconusco region of Chiapas. The government was incentivizing European investors to migrate to Mexico in order to create jobs for locals and stimulate the economy.
I grew up here, first of all, and I think my grandfather had the touch of somehow to put into my heart the love of the farm, which thank goodness has continued on. And now my son is also working at the farm. Our daughter is also working with coffee, but on the other end, consumer side, exactly. We need to always innovate and try to stay alive. You know, that has been, in my era, the issue.
¿Has estado cultivando café?
Bueno, nosotros desde que mi padre vino a este lugar, él vino de 8 años. Él fue uno de los fundadores de este ejido. Siempre ellos se han dedicado a lo que es el café robusta, ¿sí? Lo tienen que ellos que cosechar.
Pues una tradición que tenemos desde chico, donde los padres nos enseñaron a producir el café, a sembrarlo. Y ahorita con las nuevas experiencias que hemos tenido, pues hemos dado un poquito más de resultados, más actividad, más cosecha.
My grandfather always used to say that you learn how to grow coffee in 100 lessons. Mm-hmm. The only problem is that each lesson takes you a year. So you need 100 years to learn how to grow coffee.
Strong family relationships are critical for small farmers to survive. Daily problems they face are exacerbated year by year, making it increasingly difficult to build a legacy and to farm in a sustainable manner.
Pues pues muchos años que vivimos aquí en estas tierras trabajando. Y pues le digo de mi papá, él era el dueño aquí pues, pero mi papá falleció el año pasado. Entonces ya nos quedó a nosotros pues ahora las tierras aquí. Aquí es muchísimo el terreno, se va la loma de aquel lado hasta el otro lado. Pues como ven ustedes el cacao, le decía yo cacao de montaña, ¿sí? Porque muchos árboles.
It's been incredible experiencing Isidro's passion for growing cacao and being a third-generation farmer who has been in a family lineage of cultivating cacao for 200 years and is now developing the fourth generation with his 6 kids. And that passion is what drives us, you know, seeing other people doing what they love. And it's beautiful seeing his care for the environment and continuing agroforestry with an eye for organic cultivation, staying away from herbicides, pesticides, and using natural processes. And he is extremely eager to optimize his process and learn how to cultivate better cacao, be more environmentally conscious, and ferment it and process it further into a fantastic product. And that's going to allow for him to feed his family and all other people he helps in his community, because he's helping them become better cacao farmers as well. Over time, they can optimize their infrastructure to have better cultivation processes, so it's not extremely inefficient. It does not have to take big money to come in and displace these farmers. You know, these farmers love what they do. Of course, it's important for them to feed their families, but that passion, that interest, that history, that's what we came for, and that's what we found today. And hopefully we can continue working with him. And he's just an incredible family, incredible guy.
Got waffles, or what are these called? ¿Qué es el nombre? Buñuelos. Implementing biodynamic farming methods, practicing sustainable farming, and treating workers fairly is vital to the Peters family. They have about 217 hectares of land here. With all of the land, they practice agroforestry. Only 50% of it's cultivated, and they have about 130 species of birds that either live here or migrate through here. And they try to keep the farm as natural as possible, which is not necessarily common amongst bigger coffee farms. For those who don't know what biodynamic farming is, Rudolf Steiner explains that the farm should be a self-sustaining organism that thrives via biodiversity. This involves the integration of crops and the natural ecosystem.
Si tú ves el origen de muchos documentos prehispánicos de los indígenas americanos, hablan exactamente de lo mismo. De lo que Rudolf Steiner estaba hablando a finales de 1800, principios de 1900. Entonces, él desarrolló que todo, el ser vivo más grande que hay en el planeta es la Tierra. Sí. La Tierra no es un lugar para que nosotros pongamos la estructura de nuestras casas o para que sujete las raíces de los árboles. La Tierra está viva y nosotros acá no alimentamos a la planta, alimentamos el suelo. Sí. Para que el suelo dé frutos sanos en un equilibrio lo más perfecto y armónico como lo destinó en la creación cuando se formó el planeta, ¿no?
The way coffee is made is in a process that creates waste from the beginning. See, the seed is grown inside of a cherry, the seed is taken out, and that's the coffee bean that we use for roasting and processing. The cherry is left over. And what sustainable farmers do is they actually utilize the cherry for compost. So a lot of times, this compost can emit traces of mycotoxins into the soil, into the waterway, and runoff from rain will take that and sweep it throughout the land, which is extremely bad for the microbiological activity and for the health of the soil and the ecosystem.
Here we speak with people who are impacted by the elusive coyotes, who are an essential transport intermediary between small farmers and buyers. They're integral, yet controversial, because it can negatively affect these small farmers during negotiations.
Entonces el productor, para no preocuparse en vender su café, en pagar flete para venir a venderlo a esta parte de la ciudad, prefieren venderlo allá en la comunidad y que ellos, los coyotes o los intermediarios, hagan su trabajo de venir a venderlo acá. En toda esta la cadena de producción del café hay muchos intermediarios, los cuales también fungen como pues la persona que es la encargada de ir a traer el café hasta donde se produce y traerlos a las grandes empresas, bien sea Nescafé, etcétera, entre otros.
En algunos otros casos, pues algunos lo venden al coyote, porque pues no hay un lugar adecuado donde nosotros podamos llevar el café, ¿sí? Y que nos den un buen precio.
Tenemos un centro de acopio aquí en el ejido de Zaragoza, donde productores llegan su café y ya lleva a la empresa, que trabajamos para una empresa que es manejado por Nestlé.
Por ejemplo, la Nestlé financia a los coyotes para que ellos acopien el café.
Entonces se ha tenido una relación entre todo esto, y lo cual ha provocado que el café sea cada vez menos valorado. Esperamos que por medio de políticas públicas de gobierno se impulse lo que es la producción, y no solamente la producción, sino la calidad de vida de todas las personas que se viven prácticamente del café.
Prices on the market change with the winds, and when the amount of product on the market surpasses the demand, small-scale producers may only be able to scrape by with a few $100s per year.
How do you think smaller farmers can possibly improve
their cultivation and their processing?
There are companies and there are projects, social projects focused in improving the better way of living of the small producers. In a way, sometimes we get involved as big producers. So, for example, the people that work for us here, most of them, they have a small piece of land somewhere around and they deliver their coffee here. So they don't have to worry about milling and everything.
Right. Me llamo Mahesh.
We're just finishing up the tour in the living quarters where they have housing for all their workers during the entire year, as well as on season, which is during the harvest period from October to January. And during that time, they have a total of about 400 workers who are on the farm doing various processes, harvesting the cherries, cleaning them, washing them, creating compost during the off season.
We are trying to make them feel to stay, because that's an issue. No? You see all the faces, they are mostly over 50, and you hardly will see young people working. That's a big issue for coffee growing, and it's happening in all Central America. And why? Because they don't earn much money. They are barely surviving, who sell their coffee to the coyotes. They don't make money. And so that's an issue, and that's the reason why the young people try to get to the U.S. so that even being a gardener, they will make more money than here.
Like you mentioned, it's extremely important to support this local economy, and you have multiple generations working here.
Exactly.
Do you require the families that work for you to have their kids in school?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we ask them to. We cannot oblige them to do that, but the school is for free, so it's a matter of parents' decision.
Oh, it is.
But in the case of the pickers, we do ask them to leave their kids in the nursery so that they can go work at the field without taking the kids.
When it comes to workers in the industry, Finca Irlanda and Hamburgo set an example by paying workers fairly and providing resources such as housing, childcare, and schooling. Our team arrived in San Cristobal, Chiapas, a gorgeous town with a blissful, almost magical energy.
Trying to go find some indigenous communities and hopefully interview their coffee and cacao producers. So we don't know anyone here, so we're going to go to a coffee museum, talk to some people, and see if they can point us in the right direction.
Completely unaware of where we're going.
After spending a few hours, our team learned about recent violence in a small coffee farming community named Pantelo. We discovered that 24 to 48 hours prior to our arrival, around 2,500 to 3,000 indigenous peoples from the town had been displaced. They had been caught in the middle of a conflict between an unknown cartel and the Mexican National Guard.
Panteló es un municipio bastante rico en actividades. ¿En qué aspecto? Panteló se dedica a la producción de café, que tenemos una diversidad de actividades económicas. Estos conflictos que se han suscitado más fuertemente en estos días ha bloqueado gran parte de la actividad económica de Panteló. Un conflicto ha sido la corrupción del crimen organizado con el ayuntamiento.
El ejército mexicano y policías estatales ingresaron esta tarde al municipio de Panteló, donde este jueves fueron emboscados por un grupo armado con un saldo de 6 policías y 3 militares heridos. La cabecera de Panteló es un pueblo fantasma. Los habitantes huyeron.
Este 7 y 8 de julio nos hicieron salir de nuestro pueblo. Salimos de nuestros hogares, con hijos, personas, familiares. Nos hicieron salir corriendo. como que tuviéramos la culpa de lo que ellos hicieron. No se pusieron a pensar un poco en nuestro pueblo cómo íbamos a estar solos. Solo nos hicieron sufrir, sin imaginarse si íbamos a tener en dónde llegar, en movernos.
Si de este lado están los hermanos que se levantan en armas, de este lado está el narcotráfico, en medio queda la población. Y los más vulnerables es la población. Porque en un cruce de armas de fuego, los más dañados son todas las familias.
No tenemos apoyo del gobierno. Por eso pido que se haga una justicia, que se haga investigaciones hasta el fondo, que den con los responsables del crimen organizado, los narcotraficantes. Eso es lo que pido, para que podamos regresar a casa con nuestras familias.
Reflecting on our beautiful visit to the state, it takes us back to the initial intention. Take a moment to think about the people and environment we rely on for our daily food consumption. Watching this film is a step towards progress, but please do take a moment to share it with someone who you feel can make a change in the industry. Since our return, there have not been drastic changes, as these things take time and can be quite complex in nature.